take your time. Finish your call. So I'm very fortunate because this parking lot isn't a ultra mega corporatized lot. This is Rose Harms. Rose Harms, I was invited into, I think, earlier in the week, but I don't feel comfortable unless it's rented out. And when I say rented out, I mean that's different than a permit. And in a permit, you get it. I don't know if you pay money, but in either way, someone's playing a trombone across the street, and trombones, they leak. When I open up the shower, and it's like a glass wall, water goes down from the gutter of that glass wall, and it's similar to how trombones, when you empty out the excess precipitation. This was what I saw at the end of band practice where they were cleaning their instruments. The people with trombones had a slide and they had to empty the tubes, and it was nothing more or less than prostate problems when a guy had to empty gallons of it and go on leave. And so the difference of like what secondhand smoke is, I breathed that 2 times a day, and that precipitation, because water molecules going out of your mouth, and if they're in the form of smoke that had been released from your lungs, I'm guessing it's water on it or not. I don't. That's hard to put your thumb on, because yes, it is secondhand from their breathing out, but does that directly mean it's wet? If so, then it would be equal to like what spit is. If an officer gets hit with it, you're being charged with assault with a deadly weapon because your spit is clarified as that. And that's the really big divide between judges when they don't know what computer science is and they're trying to make decisions of what etiquette and machinery is. It gets dicey because the lines blurred of a judge and a computer scientist are vast. So to make it a way where one is having decisions trump the other, a judge is, yeah, hi.
Sorry, we've been tied up on a call real quick. How are you doing?
I'm leaving. To not have part 2 turn into a soap opera, I just want to address something that people's words, when they understand, it's like when a monkey looks in a mirror and it understands it's itself, is beaten 5/9 of the animal kingdom who can't identify themselves. When they look inside a mirror, they see a threat as if it isn't a perfect clone of themselves. And when they start to move, they can't put the two together. Is when you can't redact a statement. In the court of law, they say that. But in real life, outside of the court of law, you can't say cancel and redact or pretend I didn't say that. So the one thing that I do wish that I could have redacted was in 8th grade after I had a girlfriend. There was only one other girlfriend, Allison Weststein, and she got married, and like the other girlfriend I had, my only girlfriend for like more than 3 months. Literally after 8th grade, I went all high school and college, and even now without a girlfriend. Don't get me wrong, I'm not prude, so I've actually like kissed more than 2 of my girlfriends. I don't even think I kissed Allison, but on that note, it's that I wish that my first girlfriend that I had for like more than 3 months in 8th grade, I wouldn't have broken up with her because I chose to. Because I held hands with another girl who took me to Pizza Hut and went underneath a pyramid that was paper mache in the dark, and we were just down there hanging out holding hands. And we went to a movie together and we held hands again. So like this was in between one of those instances where I was going out with the girl already, Caroline. So I just like same week found her after school and I broke up with her. I'm like, we can't go out anymore, and she was so mad. There's no description. So after that word, I wish that I wouldn't have said that word. And I wish that I would explain to her that I was holding the hand of a different girl as we're going out. And I'm really sorry, because that's not as bad as what divorce papers are when people actually commit adultery. So if I was able to pull back the word, and this is what hurts people the most. It doesn't really hurt me the most because it's not serious middle school, right? But what she did, I heard that she was like breaking stuff that same day in place. She was part of a play production. There are a few of them in grade school. I should know, I was part in one of them. Actually, prior to that, another one, so multiple. But she was breaking stuff at the play practice, so, sticks and stones. But the one thing that is a stark resemblance when people, that soap opera side, like she's already with someone, has been. But is when humans can't redact word statements. And so that's where binary actually has a stronghold, because DNA, there's a language of it, and there's some things that are hard to redact, like cancer. So chemotherapy, I heard, is equivalent to a ghetto version of just RAID. What RAID is a ant killer, a pesticide, and that's why you never put pesticides, including bee spray or bear spray, with your regular food, because it might leak into it. I should know, there's chicken grease on stuff, and it wells up, and people like it when it's cooked. Buy cooked chicken. If you could buy cooked veggie meat in a rotisserie where they've already cooked it and I don't have to slave over an oven, I would do this once in a blue moon, because they don't cook veggie meat in stores like they cook chicken as rotisserie, or just put it into a platter and have it heated and it has juice under it. People like that, but it can leak out. Different than anything can leak if it gets smashed, but particular for pesticide, you don't bag it with other groceries because it could. This rag was just on here, but little hairs of it went onto there and got caught, like this one. So there's a separate meaning from one and the other. So there's a separate meaning from hairs not on there, little fibers that are. You can tell the difference, and this is ratios and tension. Because in Mortal Kombat you can get thrown through the ground and into a different platform, and this is what this brake shoe was doing in a cart. It was going through like two carts that were backed up on top of each other and falling onto the ground. And then I saw all these tiny shanks on the ground, because I pick up trash a lot, but it was just plastic. But this one was like a cardboard cutout of a tomahawk, and this lady saw me at a distance walking with it, and I was juggling it between my hands. It was kind of sketch. It was just a piece of cardboard that looked like a tomahawk. But in any case, if there's hard plastics on the ground and they're the size of like 3 of your fingers, it's technically defined as a shank. Because if it was melted together with 3 other ones, it would be. That's why this guy on YouTube, he showed us how like you melt together like 3 plastic forks and it's a shank. Or knives, anything, you know what I mean? 3 plastic knives together is a shank. So that's why when Noob Saibot has these ninja stars and he's good at throwing them, it's like a special move, you know what I'm saying? But aside from that is, what else was I thinking of earlier today? As all the troll cats were filing out. What's a defensive strike? I ran into these things earlier when I was trying to dash. Dash is when you do a quick sprint, and if you have good footholds, you can platform and dash off a lot of things, and this is an evade if it is a good one. It's notable because they can make places off good reads if you delay and you can dash. You're more than likely to get good evades. and I was dashing, and this one other person was coming, so I was dashing and was near the sidewalk, so then I almost hit one of those poles. So then ostensibly they would have had like a super with a thing that was monolithic, predating me not knowing it was there. And that's the biggest thing with Noob Saibot, him not knowing that, you not knowing that he's there, is why he's all in black. There's this one person with a Ouija board, is a ghost-like figure with a top hat. He's been seen in like houses and even in the Comedy Store that all the comics who are famous currently had their upbringing in, if there were anyone. And that place got shut down. But if you look into a podcast that Bobby Lee did with Joe Diaz, he breaks down what was really in the Comedy Store. And it was a cult. A lot of things are a cult in America if it's an old city with history in it, like Wisconsin, Milwaukee. They had to burn down Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment because it was too haunted. It was prone to too many things that horrific. He was making an altar made out of people's bodies and treating it like scaffolding. So you drew pictures of all this, so they burned down the building so it wouldn't get haunted by this guy who was shadowy in a black hat, having a male essence. This is what like Noob Saibot in Mortal Kombat. It's a video game, but the guy with the hat and he's shadowy is real life because a lot of people see him in places that are haunted. And that's just to double how the fallen angel, Lucifer, he's in Mortal Kombat 2. That's where Scorpion is in hell, and so is Quan Chi. So it's really hard to divide the nether realm because Scorpion's like the heirloom of the nether realm, but he likes to reside in hell. Then Shinnok overcame Lucifer. Shinnok and Raiden are like always butting heads because Earthrealm is always at attack from the nether realm, and Shinnok is like the guru for like a third of the time of the nether realm, taking over the Earthrealm characters, which is where we could evolve because with Special Forces is an extension from the Army and the Air Force. Green Beret is what is the Lucifer in hell to Scorpion, but they never really say Lucifer like in any of the Mortal Kombat cutscenes of the video game. But they do show hell because Scorpion's backdrop is always like in flames and lava in like a third of his cutscenes. But just to imagine a backdrop in the in-game play in this fighting game, Mortal Kombat, is that I just said that like this one person says Ouija board because it's so spectacular that you add emphasis on it, because a backdrop in a fighting game video game can be utilized as those poles I was showing you where I run into them. Or you can have like a rubber brake. If you ever had a brake pad on a bike, they can be miniature. One was not hard rubber but soft, and it fell through a grading sifter, aka a cart basket, when I was pushing it hard. And so that's what a defense that strikes is. One thing that I was striking was a guy, and he had a shirt, and then it said like it had a poison in it, and it named a name, and it showed like diagrams around this liquid dot. And this is what the guy Rain is, another Mortal Kombat ninja. He has liquid and he's really good with it. So does Reptile, he's good with liquid. So there's this name of this liquid on this guy's shirt, but it had other names like around it with things that were bad compared to it. That's a great diagram. You can relate that to AstraZeneca. And if that gets flagged by AI, I know exactly why. It's these code words that are with patents in linguistics where you know something's wrong because combinations in the history of the United States, doctors haven't known what has worked until it had the problem, such as the guy whose jaw was disintegrated because he had an elixir. And then nowadays, I saw on the internet, it was Suboxone, and this guy who I know was my best friend, gave me the screenshot, and he swore by Suboxone, but he ended up losing teeth. So I'm saying that AI is probably knowing all the medical names, Bam Margera names off some medical names of stuff that they assign you for all these rehab places. But that's when a defense strikes. If you can know these combinations, it's like somewhat outstanding if you can apply them to reality and nature so people know. You're tied up on a call. Are you on it now?
I am actually.
Well, look at you. Oh, look at you. Playing secretary. Look at she's playing secretary.